As for the other roles, or not necessarily lanes, but types of champions, we still have all the top laners open. Looks like Jace is there, Gnar is there. There are some counters to each of these, but just depends which side of the map you want your strongest champion to be. Another champ that's coming to mind right now is Naafiri. She's really strong right now. So out of one of those champions I mentioned, I feel like it's got to be something like that. You've already lost to Camille Shen. As for those roaming supports, there's a few left that do similar things like Pyke or Galio, but I just wonder what you first pick here. I'm thinking Victor Syndra.
Yeah, I don't like that you said that. But we will end up having the Lucian ban here, as well as the Ezreal ban. So focusing down towards some of those APCs now potentially for the bot lanes. We'll see exactly what IG want to do with their first pick yet again.
Yeah, I think Lucian kind of falls into that category of a bit of an anti-mage. You can take him where they have one of those mage bots, you take Emilio, you're just able to have this range and this access onto them that just does so much damage. That gets taken away here. We see Ryze come in. That's not really a flex pick for the bot lane, but I mean, I wouldn't put it past this meta if this Ryze somehow ended up in Awesome's hand. Unfortunately, that just goes against everything I want to see from this IG on their comfort. We know for a fact Rookie is solid on the Ryze, and we want to see Awesome on the Marksman. So that's definitely going to be Rookie's pick here. A fair few counters into that, but they're going to save their counter for later as they pick their potential top and their support.
I do kind of like the return of engage meta for bot lanes. What do you feel about bot lane right now? Are you liking it?
I mean, it's actually been very interesting getting to be on, someone who kind of is able to provide drafting perspectives for an NACL team, because our particular player Tomo just loves to play anything. He says, nope, Jace, flex pick, bet. He says, oh, Orianna, flex pick, bet. Varus, give it to me, don't worry about it. Draft me a melee tramp, draft me Vladimir. He's just willing to pay absolutely anything down there in the bot lane. He absolutely popped off on the Jace the other day, as a matter of fact. So, I mean, I don't really think Elk is going to be playing Jace. Don't get me wrong with what I'm saying on this one. But, yeah, I just think the bot lane meta is really interesting. And we're going to get to see if these teams have a preference, because you could pick an APC here, or you could pick an APC here.
The Olaf goes through. We have a top trio now locked in for IG. Top lane Olaf, a Naafiri coming through for Wei, and the Ryze that was first picked for Rookie.
Yeah, that's going to mean that this matchup is really risky up here in the top side for Zika, unless he pulls a Tomo, but let's not not index into that. It would make the most sense here to pick a Ryze counter before they get banned away. Syndra being one of the absolute best ones. I mean, that champion, I mentioned her earlier in this draft, she is so strong nowadays, Mazel. They added some buffs to her a few patches back. All they did was increase her Q damage by like maybe 20, give or take, based on your AP. But that little amount just means that she always one-shots waves with her Q. So she's so mobile around the map with generating prio into this Ryze.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Syndra has been insane. Even going in APC, whatever. I'll admit that one. This is a first time Olaf for TheShy, by the way. So we had the lock first time, obviously for Rookie, and now we have the Olaf for TheShy. See if it represents a change for him coming into this series. But in the second phase, we get a lot of that top lane ban to kind of safe up the matchup into Olaf. The Vayne banned away. It is pure support bans by Weibo.
Yeah, that's really quite awesome. And
awesome,
awesome, if you know what I mean. But like, genuinely, like, I'm in awe that it's Olaf's, or TheShy's first pick of Olaf. I mean, it goes against what we asked for when it came to this second draft in wanting these players on their comfort picks. But for some reason in my head, even though it's not necessarily a TheShy comfort pick, it just feels like one, TheShy thematically on the Olaf. That just seems like exactly what we want TheShy to be doing. It's just going in and being an absolute team fight, split push, melee crazy menace.
Win or die.
I love it. I know we haven't seen it from TheShy yet, but I almost feel like I've already seen it anyways.
We get the Renekton locked in to that Olaf matchup. How do you feel about that matchup head-to-head?
Yeah, we've seen this one a bit around, and honestly, people pick the Renekton into the Olaf to help get through that laning phase, especially that pre-6 point, but honestly, once this Olaf kind of hits that more mid-game stage, let's say 2 items, level 11 and beyond, he doesn't care that much. You can't stun him, you can't stop him. He does true damage even if you are tanky Renekton, so you can match him early, but he puts in some work.
Please. No. Don't put awesome on Seraphine, man. Okay. Well, it's going to be the APC Seraphine. It's going to be the Rel for Meiko.
No.
There's a couple engaged tools, I would say, on IG now, though. I'll give him that.
Man, I mean, okay. I wanted to see awesome on a champion.
Why is my league
who
like
wasn't
this, guys?
this champion. I wanted that Syndra to
Why
go
is
into
my
the
League
mid
of
lane
Legends like this?
against the Rise. Unfortunately, what we have instead here, we have a Syndra bot versus a Seraphine bot. Lo and behold, oh my gosh, I just clocked that it was Jace jungle as well. I may have fully lost the plot. They baited the Olaf pick. Instead of flexing Jace in the bot lane, they flexed him into the jungle. Seraphine comes out, Syndra comes out, so the Anivia counters the Rise. Honestly, Mazel, I gotta give both teams credit. These are good meta read drafts, IMO, but this is just maybe not the content we had in mind.
Honestly, you know what? I think I'm gonna decide to start doing this live on air, and I don't know if I'll stick with it, but I want to start taking all these drafts that I hate from LPL games at the highest level, and I'm gonna start adding Drew Levin with them and saying, "Is this what you want?" And Freak. I'll add Freak in there too.
Yeah, Freak can help out.
Dude, Seraphine, Syndra bot lane. It's fine. We'll see how they do in the later parts of the game. Obviously, we still have some wiggle room with the engaged supports in the bot lane. But besides my malding, let's talk about these comps a little bit, because I do feel like there's still a similarity with the style that IG is bringing compared to their last game.
I mean, on the bright side, you did touch on there gets to be an engaged support in this game for both sides, and that's just going to really help decomplicate the picture, because previously they had the Camille into the Shen, who's just a pretty thematic counter, whereas you got Rel versus Nautilus. You can gyro this one.
Yeah, I'm so happy to hear the
Those
gyros.
were both pretty loud.
Yeah, I mean, hey, Weibo, they had to win to convince the audience to cheer for them, which, might be something, but at least they're cheering now. And IG maybe have lost a little bit of those cheers, but you take a look here. We got Storm Raiders actually for Elk in the bot lane too.
Oh yeah, Storm Raiders for the Syndra is a pretty bold choice. It means I think he just really wants to be able to get out of range of this kind of Olaf, Nefiri, Rel dive. It could make some sense. It just means he's sacrificing a little bit of his lane phase power here. And we see Awesome able to trade onto him somewhat effectively because of it.
Okay. Xiaohu. Oh, barely doesn't have the range. Will not be able to take down Xiaohu to his egg. And that'll be a little bit of presence and prio from Rookie in the mid lane.
Yeah, and you know what this is? It is a Ghost versus TP matchup here, so I can't quite tell who this favors yet, but presumably Xiaohu, because he gets to keep his egg conditions. Only thing going for Rookie, which I may talk about later, these trading patterns can be pretty scary down here, but yeah, the thing is, right, if Rookie did proc the egg there, he would have just got the egg. He couldn't have done any extra damage to it. Ideally, when you pop that egg on the Anivia, of course, you can deal lasting damage to the second health bar, which would not have been the case for Rookie. So, doesn't matter either way. Anivia would have TP'd back, so you wanted to pop that egg. Unfortunately for Rookie, he did not. He lost the Ghost. He's going to be in a tough spot here. Anivia wants to hold this wave, so it's just a matter of how fast Rookie can get back.
Seeing a little bit of a crash trying to come through here from IG, as we do see the culmination of both junglers clear, as they were on mirrored starts. So or at least the opposite side starts. So they will be trending towards separate lanes. Jiejie could still be a little bit finicky where he wants to finish off, but we will see the scuttle cramp started very early for him comparatively to Wei. But Wei will get his own here, traded in both sides of the jungle.
Yeah, the mid laner in me has been watching this closely. I saw Rookie's first base attempt got interrupted. Looks like they might go for something cheeky here again. They're not going to hold this. They're going to push this one out.
Oh, he's going to play sneaky. Okay.
They're hunting
he's going to wait. He's going to
Wei.
wait. Oh, but he missed the first Dark and Dagger, and he misses the second Dark and Dagger. Oh, my God.
Yeah, Wei misses both, and Weibo chooses not to hold that wave. Looks like IG not going to lose anything off of that. Not even going to get any gold there, or damage down there, rather, is Wei. Not even stealing Jiejie's first strike. 0 damage taken still on the Jace. No early game fighting coming out here in the first 4 minutes. That's unusual for this LPL nowadays.
True, but I'm sure it'll pick up here sooner rather than later, as we are going to have a 2v2 in mid lane. Xiaohu still playing pretty low with his health bar, but has the egg, obviously. About a minute for that dragon. Could see whichever team wants to kind of put prio on that, but honestly, with the way that both these teams are drafted, I do expect a little bit of a slower pace early game at least.
Huge interrupt here from Rookie. This definitely could get him a pretty big tempo lead. Maybe to get that Realm Warp in first. I wanted to touch on this recall timer for both supports. They are above that level 3 threshold, so they can really go anywhere on the map now. That's kind of the idea with these mage supports, being able to clear the waves 1v whoever. But looks like they're not going to be able to find anything for Meiko or JWei here. Just a bit of warding. No real top lane surprise stories, anything like that.
No real roam pressure coming through just yet. We do still see JWei on the roam, and you gotta remember that was a big unlocking factor in game number 1, was his movement towards top side and kind of the denial of any engage up there, as they would be spotted on his ward as they move over. But is he too deep? He's gonna flash preemptively just like in game number 1, and he pops the ghost this time to be safe. They were thinking about it. The accelerated shock blast does come through, but it's not enough, and TheShy will be fine.
Get the mirror play here from IG.
Oh, beautiful from Wei to dodge away from the scatter, and that will be one for the week as IG take first blood.
That's just the nature of the game. You either match a play or you mirror it. Looks like IG chose to mirror that play by diving the enemy team's side lane, and Elk just has no allies near him. JWei's move ends up costing Elk.
And that'll be pretty good for the IG camp here, as nothing was able to come of it in the top side. Wei being unlocked, very, very important on this Naafiri. We've seen it run rampant, literally, in the LPL so many times, and he'll have his crack at it this time around, as both junglers are going to be hitting level 6. We are going to be getting those level 6 marks as well for the rest of the map. Obviously, solo laners have already hit that, but do you feel like that ups the ante in some of these fights?
Yeah, I feel like it really does. Something I've been learning about lately is the real price of some of these plays here. Because, yes, it's nice, they got that first split onto Elk, but you know what the price really was, Mazel? It was TheShy's summoner spells. He had to tank the enemy team's attempt, and that's just going to mean that up here, he's a total sitting duck if Weibo wants to make a follow-up play.
I'm just going to say, in little thing, I know I'm very much looking at this super concretely, but I'm just saying, APCs, they can't clear minions as well. I've seen both of our ADCs miss a lot of minions. Just saying. Could play a marksman. You can get those minions real good. As
that's low-key true, because the thing with these mages is the thing that typically gates them is their XP. Like, these type of champions don't really get their wave clear enabled until level 7 or sometimes even level 9, when they really get more points into their primarily like Q abilities, right? So until then, they're a lot more susceptible to these waves stacking up against them and causing them some problems like we previously saw for Elk.
Yeah. We see the back and forth, the tug of war in mid lane is still continuing. Backstomped after backstomp. We had the rush of the Swifties for Xiaohu actually on the Anivia.
Yeah, That's pretty cool. That's pretty basic. Something we're seeing a lot nowadays in this mid lane meta is ever since they did a slight buff to the move speed rune. It's the 2.5 move speed shard. You take that, you take celerity, you take swiftness boots. The whole idea is just max your move speed out to just be as impossible to hit skill shots on and as spacing maxing as possible is Xiaohu.
Spacing maxing, that's the new keyword you gotta look for on TikTok, I'm sure. Xiaohu getting hit very hard. That's going to be the grub started up by IG, and they should be able to at least take a couple. It doesn't look like the contest is going to come soon fast enough, at least from Weibo. As they might try to sneak in for one, but it looks like they'll just be okay with clearing some vision. And IG will get all three grubs. Is he going to steal it away? Yep, he saved his smite. Beautifully done from Wei.
They're gonna go ahead and get the objective for themselves.
What are we doing?
Here.
What are we doing? What are we doing?
Can't give the crab up, can we?
What are we doing? We
Whoa!
just missed but what is happening right now?
What
we
is
got the
happening?
encore misses. We missed the realm warp plays. We missed the big engage from Meiko as he does die. But Wei is the one that picks up the prize. He's gonna die now too. He needs to go over the wall, but it's the shock blast from hell from Jiejie.
Yeah, like they literally missed everything. We got Rookie ulting into Narnia. We got awesome first time Seraphine ulting. I mean, everything about that just looks scuffed beyond belief, but somehow it didn't turn out as bad as I thought. It was a 1 for 2 against them, but I mean, at least they got the 1 kill at the end there. It low-key seemed like it might have been chill that they just whiffed everything.
We're going to take a look back at that one.
Yeah, Rookie popping this Realm Orb. I don't know what he's seeing there. I don't even know if Rel gets into that ulti, if they're able to get some kind of a look here. He pops a Magnet Storm anyway. A decent amount is able to get done there to reach Meiko. And Wei, he's seeing blood here, but really he's just out of effective spells. No W. Looks like no E. And yeah, completely sniped there by the flexed Jace jungle pick in Jiejie.
Wei waited until Meiko took 3/4 of that control ward and did what every good solo queue support does and places another one so it goes away. Love to see that little micromanaging of one of the GOAT supports in the LPL by one of the burgeoning stars here, it felt like, throughout this year on the LPL. But here he is on the Nautilus against Meiko. We'll see what kind of impact they have, because now we have first items coming aboard. At least for the junglers. Everybody else going to follow suit, but it is the mid laners going to be a little bit behind after both rushing those boots.
Yeah, boots is just so key to get so quickly here on these mids in these kind of matchups. But yeah, Rookie having the ghost, we saw him having to pop it pretty awkwardly in the previous play before much went down. That's just kind of how it feels when the enemy has the swiftness boots advantage. Really quite hard for you to do much, but what choice do you really have to not go Mercs against Anivia Syndra? So yeah, we see Xiaohu putting some hurt here onto Rookie, and looks like Wei is feeling himself.
It's a late dragon, man. It's almost 11 minutes in. It's our first dragon of the game, and now Rookie, he might take the bait here. He's be a bit careful. Accelerated shock blast comes out from Fog of War, and Rookie flashes instantaneously. Dragon goes over to Wei.
That really shows how strong this Anivia can be. I feel like Wei could get the jump here, but yeah, just pop one glacial wall as Anivia, and sometimes one wall equals one flash. Pretty good deal.
Whoa! Jiejie didn't expect the entire brigade to come over. The crash down doesn't connect, but the CC does. Rookie picks up the kill.
That's just it right there. The thing with this Jace jungle, you are just so extremely vulnerable to the dive threat from Nefiri, from Rel, and Ryze being able to layer over top is no laughing matter either. Shy's taking some pretty tough trades up here. I don't know if Cagel's too happy with this.
Gotta get a Cagel check-in for sure on how TheShy is doing and how the pack is going. But it is still very contested top lane. It's very contested across the board for the entire game, as we're going to see what kind of breaks open. And that's what I want to talk about next a little bit, because we've said it from the drafting. Both teams do have some serious scaling options. So is it just a late game setup we have here?
Yeah, one thing I've come to find is the way that certain comps scale, and it takes a while to really figure it out for a given game. I still don't know for this one. It depends who comes online the most. I mean, right now TheShy has not been set back all too much, meaning he's gonna reach that strong item threshold where he's just way more of a threat than this Renekton. I could see that being a huge scaling factor. With that being countered by Anivia though, so it's gonna be for both sides.
A couple of sneaky plays happening right now as Awesome does get away from his. There was also a sneaky play in mid lane being delved out by IG. They don't end up finding that one either, and we do get some plates given over. It is Elk who gets paid out here. Xiaohu is a bit surrounded, and I don't know if he knows, but the egg will still be there if he does get into trouble.
Yeah, the Anivia reminding me of the Casio, just a champ who builds so much HP and durability. Gets really hard to catch this champion out. Just a total immovable object in the mid. Really good into this Rise as well, but luckily Rookie able to keep his middle column of the KDA at a nice solid 0. He's going to need to keep doing that because I imagine if he lets this enemy comp snowball, things are going to get really tough, and that's how they get outscaled.
Yeah, do you like either side a little bit more in scaling and kind of win conditions at least?
I mean, I've seen some truly unfathomable things in late game Seraphines, especially late game Olafs, and I can only imagine how those two components would go together and just creating pretty much Thanos.
All right, well, you heard it here. It is the IG comp leaning a little bit more into that late game. See if they can find the mechanical execution to match that here, though. Both teams will be needing some of that.
This is a look for sure.
Going to redeploy up towards top side. We do have the Rift Herald spawning in less than a minute. Maybe they can make a play on a Xiaohu.
I would have loved to see an ulti there committing onto Xiaohu, but I can kind of foresee how that would have went. They can maybe get the flash, maybe get the egg, but the teammates just arrive on time, so I can see why they don't burn the Realm Warp for some of Xiaohu's cooldowns. It just doesn't seem like that net positive of a trade.
He's going to play with his food a little bit, was just fading out if there was going to be any kind of engage coming through from Weibo, but the ward will be cleared nonetheless. And we're going to return to normalcy for the next 20 seconds at least, as we're actually getting a back coming through from JWei. Rift Herald spawning in 15, and you still have IG around the corner.
Yeah, so the way I see this IG sort of scaling idea going is, it's just about this Anivia wall. That's the main and only way to stop this Olaf in this kind of a game. So it's just all about Xiaohu versus TheShy, which is, I couldn't have asked for much better of a script.
Oh, he gets
That's
the play,
something.
the power unleashed. Call it an outplay button, won't ya?
Just like that comes Elk into the game, into the score line.
Okay, Ragnarok did get popped.
More blood to
Jiejie is landing massive poke here.
Oh yeah, that's the total upside of this jungle Jace. You don't need any extra mana given your jungle pet. You just build full damage, first strike, red smite, just poke out of your
I feel like they can still fight this.
Yeah,
they will have the quest TP from TheShy, but it's already gone, and it goes over to Weibo. Now, that wall does beautifully to stop them. Here comes the Rift Herald, though. Can he play into it? JWei wants to go over. The Rift Herald hasn't spawned yet. He finally gets into it, but it's already running rampant, his IG. As JWei will actually find a little bit of an exit with that Rift Herald, but unfortunately, the rest of his team has been cooked, and Awesome has been getting mid lane turret prio.
What a massive W for IG. They're able to kill those two strong and mobile backline members in the Jiejie, in the Elk, and they're able to get the Herald out of JWei there. So they just get 3 Ws for the price of their bot lane tower. I mean, that seems like a pretty solid deal if you ask me.
A little bit of damage from Xiaohu, saying hello to a long-standing competitor of his, as TheShy gets welcomed back. Xiaohu also was in the top lane at one point, so I'm just not playing Anivia, I guess. JWei looking for the long con here. They do have the Ragnarok for TheShy. He's just waiting to pop it if he needs to. He's going to pop it down, try to fight back. He's got healing. JWei didn't realize what fight he was picking, as he's going to get the depth charge coming through. Jiejie with a snipe from distance.
Yeah, TheShy, just being that it's him, I kind of counted him in on that. I kind of thought he might just kill both of them there somehow, miraculously with the Olaf. I really felt it when he turned around there. I thought he saw something, that Olaf's able to win that fight, but I just guess the Stride Breaker wasn't really able to keep that gap closed. And this is exactly as I was mentioning, as you were saying too. It's going to be Xiaohu versus TheShy in this narrative. But look at this play from IG. They're just totally able to catch Weibo out on their retreat. That's what the Realm Warp can really do if you're getting multiple members into it. You're just totally caught out as Jiejie, as out there. Feels like the enemy team just appeared on top of your forehead. Kind of like this.
Yep, and JWei is going to pay the ultimate price, though he does get out with his Spider-Man-like self. As that's actually a really big escape because they used a lot of tools there. The thing saving grace for IG is they were able to get that second dragon, so their stacking is continuing, albeit very late because of how late the first dragon was taken. But I'm starting to see some of the pieces, even with a 2,000 gold lead for Weibo, I'm starting to see some of the pieces come together for IG.
Yeah, this game is really hard to tell who you'd rather be, but looks like that's going to change here.
Yeah, I think TheShy might just be dead, but he's going to try to get himself a little bit of piece of chicken, maybe a croc, but he's going to come out with nothing.
Yeah, it looks like we'd rather be Weibo after all with the way that play's looking, but still, story remains. IG does have the 2 Drakes. Price of that play is the bot lane tower. Rookie getting to cash in on that is someone you're pretty happy with. I mentioned that the Olaf Seraphine does scale well, but I mean, Syndra of all champs, one of the best scalers in the game, as is Anivia. Same with this jungle Jace, by the way, with all this acceleration he's getting in his items, in his first strike, and his red smite. It's just so strong to be that kit in these games. The poke potential just through the roof. So yeah, with TheShy being set back here, that does kind of mean that Weibo is looking at a better future.
That Cyclo Sword item spike for the Jace is so disgusting. And he's got a Sari to Dirk on top of it. Like, he's going to hit one Shock Blast onto 80% of this team, and he's going to do a quarter or more of their health. And so you really need to be careful when you're setting up around objectives or preemptive plays. As if you catch him out with no teammates around, maybe that's just the difference as Rookie picks him off.
And that's why we want Rookie on the rise. Not awesome, but thankfully we got half of the story with Rookie being on his comfort champs. Awesome? I mean, I guess he hasn't looked too uncomfortable yet, but looked pretty uncomfortable for Jiejie's Jace there. You can have all the damage in the world, but you don't really have any defensive utility potential other than your Yomus. You can't escape when they're right on top of you, so another death for him.
IG putting together some good macro here. They found multiple ganks, but this one will go a little bit awry as they weren't able to execute the way they wanted to. You could see that Weibo were moving up to potentially punish an overextension, so I think it's good that IG pulled off.
Again, another moment where I feel like the Ragnarok from TheShy, it's just not feeling like the aura that we want his Olaf to be giving off. You know, he's kind of Ragnarok and half hitting them, mostly running away. I want to see a Ragnarok Mazel where he just goes exactly right. I want to see a real Ragnarok where he goes straight in to that back line and really wrecks a havoc.
I don't know why. I just think of the Pentakill skin every time I think of Ragnarok, and I just think of like Olaf dressed as Kiss as awesome. Almost gets the awesome outplay on Elk, but he doesn't get it. Now Shock, oh, I bet that Shock Blast would have done us so much damage, even though he was able to get put down a little bit there. We're looking at the way that the ebbs and flows of these side lanes are going to work out here. Xiaohu's been consistently pressuring up here. Both will, or at least Xiaohu will have that TP. We'll see what they want to do ahead of this minute spawn from the dragon. This would be soul point for IG.
Yeah, I see the Jace recall coming in. I can only surmise he's got a Serpent's Fang in that fountain to deal with this Seraphine. Let's see if it comes in. There it is.
Third item spike.
It's really good against this comp, by the way. You've got Olaf, Seraph's Rise, Rel, and most importantly, Seraphine. So that poke is really going to land now if Jiejie hits those Shock Blasts.
All right, we're looking at a pretty important fight for the momentum of this game. Still a small lead for Weibo, but who do you prefer with the tools available to them coming into this game?
Most importantly, TheShy does have Flash and Ghost, but he does not have the Hexplate Spike, which would be huge for this fight. I can't quite favor them without the Hexplate, Mazel.
Okay,
he might have it. He might have it.
Oh my God! Oh. Jesus Christ! Jiejie doing massive damage there as a Scat of the Week. Getting a little bit close to Awesome. Awesome needs to be very careful. Does still have some of that sustain. He wants to step up to get the Honey Fruit, but he just can't. If he does, he will be dead. And another Shock Blast rings across. It's like watching a man of war at sea in the colonial times.
Got DJ Khaled here on the Jace. Another one after another one. If he hits another, I just can't imagine IG has enough HP to contest this. Thankfully, TheShy absorbs it a bit better than most. Doesn't mind losing some HP on the Olaf.
Dragon
got
started.
that hex play, Mazel. I think he does.
I mean, Wei needs to be really careful. Meiko going for the counter engage. Here comes the Realm Warp. They're delivering TheShy, but TheShy's in some trouble now too. He's going to start Ragnarok in his way away. He's auto attacking, but he might just go down. The damage is not enough.
Keep going.
He dies. He goes down to Zika. Meanwhile, on the other side of the fight, Awesome able to stay in the fight even with such low health. Rookie able to get the kill there onto the pick for Elk, and that will be Weibo being ran down. The flash play from Jiejie, really nice.
Yeah, Rookie just blew up Elk there off screen. I'm pretty sure that Syndra had like 80% health, and Rookie just hits everything.
TP back. That's Zika.
That's the Zika who could have
really
died.
Careful.
But 1 HP became 5,000, Mazel.
That shield is so impenetrable. Jiejie just wants to land some of this poke. They're a little bit worried about the all-in because you think about the way the junglers approach this. Wei is all about the all-in, and they're going to all-in as they move forward. They're going to take pole position over the dragon. They're going to take soul point here in IG, giving themselves a fighting chance.
It looks like the script is one of my favorite ones, Mazel. I mean, IG really showing us what they can do here with Rookie, with TheShy, and gosh, this is beautiful. Soul point for IG. Weibo looking to make an answer.
Zika wants to make a play there on a Meiko. Meiko trying to find an exit here, but Wei just has to watch as he gets whittled down. Slice and dice through Wei as he's used to kill his teammate. And now he's got to be careful. TheShy coming around the corner. Ragnarok available. Wei wanting to go in. Zika goes ahead and pops the Dominus. He needs to back away now. The Encore coming through, and TheShy says that's go time. They're moving forward. They get two quick kills, and Jiejie gets the resets. Jiejie gets reset on as Wei does move forward, trying to get onto Zika. Won't be able to. Tries to get JWei in the end, but Wei is going hard right now on this Neferi, and they're going to start up the Baron.
Awesome with the Encore of his lifetime. Looks like Zika might be a target
such a
now.
Bait. Oh like my god.
Just like that.
And Zika gets ran down to the under. Oh, TheShy short at the undertow. They're going to go back to the Baron and try to start it up for a second time.
Feels like they must absolutely surely have this, but maybe some teleports, maybe something Zika can do. Looks like nothing. That's going to be an IG Baron and an IG Soul Point, Mazel. Things are looking really promising. He might die, but he is Olaf, and he is totally a goat, so... Or sorry,
Olaf delivery.
Look at him in this... I think it's the back line, but it's just kind of him versus the Renekton. It's not really where you want to be. You could maybe get a Triumph proc there and suddenly swing the tides of that 1v1, but Rookie just blowing up Elk is what made this fight for IG.
Yeah, we take a look back at this too. A little bit ill-fated fight from Weibo.
Yeah, it looks like Weibo has themselves a pretty solid look here. They're blowing up Meiko. Awesome's 1 HP, but I tell you, Mazel, there's this rule I learned playing solo queue in the East. 1 HP is plenty. If that HP bar has some life to it, that's all you need. And here is why. Look at the beautiful Encore from the 1 HP Seraphine, sealing the deal and getting IG that Baron.
And we're seeing another pick now. Xiaohu in some heat in the top side as Wei is just having his way with the Rift. It's a nice shock blast, but doesn't do any lasting hurt now. And now IG surrounding mid lane.
We're now at the stage of the game where this Seraphine has so much CDR, even though that poke is landing on his HP bar right now.
That was Encore.
Awesome. Let's cast a few more W's and a little less ultis, but you know, I'm sure he'll be fine on this Seraphine pick, man.
Xiaohu's dead.
Xiaohu's dead?
Xiaohu died top lane.
Is Rookie dead?
Now Rookie is the focus. Jiejie tries to get him down. 1,000 gold goes over to Zika, but now he's 1v3. He needs to try to get out of this one. The CC is going to be there, though. He gets locked down, dragged out, and maybe taken out back, but he's not going to go down. The Croc survives yet again for another fight. Elk comes back up. JWei is there, too.
My goats are dying. The animals are leaving. What is happening to Xiaohu and to Rookie? These guys are just going for some super aggressive recall spots or overextensions or something. We see Xiaohu flashing away there on the picture-in-picture, but that was an ill-fated flash with Neferi thereafter. I mean, not what you want to be seeing here, especially on the side of Weibo. You really got a mounted defense for this Drake in 80 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, you have a 3K lead for Rookie in the mid lane now. We take a look back at that fight here.
Misses his E.
Oh, he missed the first slice and dice, so he had the flash. Oh, that's tough.
Yeah, but look at the damage JJ was able to get out there. He did a huge chunk with the Shock Blast and the Jace kit, and then applying the Serpent's Fang onto Rookie's Seraphs. That did make the difference for him to go down there, but these inventories are just not fully enough. If Jace gets this, Cyril does, and maybe if someone else can get a third item, that'd be great, but I just don't see them getting there compared to these inventories from the side of IG.
And it's Soul, 45 seconds away on a Chemtech Soul. Weibo don't want to give that one up freely. Do they have a way into this fight?
Yeah, they're going to need one, but that being said, the Renekton is extremely strong right now.
Doesn't matter if you get pounced on before they're even set up, as it's flash from Elk. He tries to get to the Blast Cone, but he can't do it. He is just down, and now it's a 4v5, and it's TheShy who is just speeding away as the Encore connects through. They are just cutting them down one by one, and what did we say the script was the entire time, fools? We knew this was going to 3, and it's definitely leaning that way.
TheShy just ghosts in, flashes in, and makes me wish I had my better microphone, because I just want to yell about this guy and how great he's playing on his return performance alongside Rookie, the man in the gold. Look at them two go, Mazel. They're back in it better than ever.
They're back in it. They're feeling good after that game number 1 loss. And it is Rookie and TheShy who step up and knock it out of the park for game 2. We're going to 3 on the redeeming moment of TheShy.
We get the script that we all were hoping for. 3 games of Rookie TheShy in their grand return of absence of return. They finally made it, and this time they might be sticking it around to make a real deeper run.
We'll see, as we said it so many times. Wins are so important in Group Nirvana, and the fact that this is going all the way, 2 of the favorites for the group moving forward into Split 3. You gotta remember, only the top 2 make it to the play-ins. You have to be in that top 2 if you still want to be in the conversation for playoffs towards the end of the split. And I know it's just starting out. This is the first debut for both teams and the first debut for Nirvana as a whole, but it's so important to highlight those facts.
Yeah, and since you're just in that 4-team group with the double round robin, I mean, honestly, I'm pretty sure every match win counts, but not just every series win, it's every game win at that, because we might have ourselves in a situation where tiebreakers are taking place. So even IG to get this 1 win on the board is very important, but after all, it's gonna be that series score that is most important of all. You got to be looking at least a 4-2. I mean, 3-3 just might not get you there, so you really want to have a good performance from the start to the finish.
And Weibo were kind of giving them a run for their money here. They had a lead for a decent amount of the game, but starts snowballing. You start getting caught like 4 times in a row by an errant realm warp from Rookie, and you just can't have those kinds of mistakes for Weibo.
Yeah, TheShy was looking a little bit awkward on there in the Olaf versus Renekton matchup, but he did kind of get bait and switch though in the draft. We saw the Jace come in early for the side of Weibo. One would presume it is the top laner. Thankfully, they took the Olaf, so it's not like he was left with some really unplayable matchup where maybe I think Vayne or something could have been like that. I don't think she was available. He was just left against the Renekton. It's not his favorite matchup, but it's one that he can scale into just fine if his main man Rookie sets him up like this.
I love that we start with the worst fight of the entire game where everybody misses every single ability. I promise it gets better from here. I almost forgot about that.
Yeah, one of those encores in the later stages was just so glorious that I forgot about how scuffed some of this early game was for IG. They're kind of lucky they got away with those minimal scars that they did.
Love some of these moments, but just showing the back and forth nature of these 2 teams and what we can expect from them here in split number 3. Personally, with my bias fully intact, I'm glad Rookie and TheShy won a game. All right, it would have been incredibly sad for them to come in this big grandiose re-announcement and to lose 2-0. So I'm happy with it. I'm glad, and now I'm just excited to see what we get for game 3.
Yeah, it almost makes me feel like they're turning the LPL this split into some kind of a reality show where first they lock, they pick that champion, and they go just full send in the draft and in the performance. We even got to see the first time Shy Olaf up there as well. They're sparing us no punches, just going for the absolute
100%
curveball haymakers, Mazel. Look at that, man. They're
100% win rate,
just
baby.
like that, 100%, baby.
Never lost, never lost.
This is that encore, though, from the awesome.
Shout out to
Looks
Players.
like he
Fools, do you know
earned the
Players?
pass.
Did you watch Players?
Players, is that like a
Oh
movie like
my
The
God.
Blind
No,
Side? Am
all
I
right,
tripping?
just gonna no. It's the League of Legends show.
We have a show?
Oh my God, I'm so sad.
Chat, we gotta watch Players.
I'm just gonna stare at my screen until we get to go to break.
Tell us about it. Some of us might
It's a
not
great
know.
show. It's a great
Okay.
show. Well, I don't know
After
if it's
this, I'll
great,
do
but
that.
it was a fun show. I don't even know if it's available anymore.
Really?
But
Like TSM
anyways,
Legends?
we'll talk about that some other time. But we did get to watch some players here, and at
we
least
did.
hopefully some more consistent players in game number 3. Who do you give MVP for this game too? Is it
MVP
Rookie?
for this game too. I mean, I feel like it's really hard to not give it to Rookie with just the way he was going around that map, making his magic happen, filling in the blanks for his team where we might have needed some compensation. Let's just say, you know, Shy was looking a little worse for wear up there, but Rookie was fully able to make up for it and then some. I just feel like it's got to be Rookie with the Realm Warp, with the one-shots, carrying the map, carrying the team, back and better than ever. Might I say his prime?
His prime. I like it. All right. I'm curious. I mean, he was just sending those realm warps, and so like the first couple times didn't work out. The other times, it literally just made Weibo lose their entire mind. As Wei will get the MVP. He was okay.
He was there.
On the Nefiri. I mean, he was 6-1. He was the one that was getting a lot of the resets and the kills, but I think Rookie really facilitated a lot of that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Rookie would have narrative buff as well coming in with the Shy. So maybe they're just trying not to...
The Shy got like 2 more kills.
Yeah,
he wins
yeah.
it 100%.
They just try not to be too biased, I think. They don't want to give it to any of those 2 superstars because then the audience might think that it's not a fair system. This way, we get to see Wei. He did deserve his credit at the end of the day because that Nefiri was really getting some work done. I mean, the only play that didn't go his way was that early game where all his teammates missed everything, not him. Mind, he was left to die
It's hard to miss
the J
stuff
Shock
when you-
Blast. But yeah,
True,
when you point and click
true.
on them,
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
not
like,
bad from him. It really wasn't.
Not bad, not bad. Well, not bad for a game number 2. We will have another game on the horizon. We have a whole nother series after this. But IG Weibo going the distance, game 3.